two things. How long have you been singing?
Ooh, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
1999. But I was just in a choir in the back row. Choir had like 4 lines, like very many. So I was in the back row and just, singing along and backing.
Yeah.
And as the Bible says, it takes us from glory to glory. 2009, I did my first track, Joe Genda, which was a duet with Alice Chobe. And then, things just exploded.
From there on, it has been...
by the grace of God.
How is it being... again, we're talking Women's Day. So you're one of those very powerful voices in music. Does that come with a lot of pressure?
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. First of all, everybody wants to know what's happening in your life. You don't have a private life anymore. But that's okay, because we're supposed to be an example. Yeah. And it comes with the pressure of living beyond people's expectations. Yeah, people say, she has to do this, she has to do this. People don't want to decide for you what to do. They want to decide how many children.
How?
They want to decide how many children you should have. They want to decide what shoes you should wear. So, but it's so good. It comes with it.
And how do you deal with that?
First of all, but you have to be calm because you have Jesus in you, first of all, and you have to portray the Christian life. So, but it's all worth it. It comes with being in the limelight, and I can handle it.
Oh, okay. So, as a powerful woman, as we close, as one of the women who other women look up to, I know there's someone who sent a message in on Twitter just now, and okay, now my internet is being very slow, but they say their weekend is made because you're on the show, and they want to be like you one day. Yeah. So to other women who want to be like you one day, what message do you leave for them today?
The Bible proverb says, charm is deceptive, beauty is deceptive, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. First of all, you have to have the fear of the Lord. If you don't know Christ today, you better receive Christ in this telecast.
Let's do that right now.
Okay.
If there is anyone out there who would like to receive Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior, Jack is going to say a prayer for you right now. If you like to do that, you just do that now.
All right. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come to you. I know I'm your child. I have sinned and fallen short of your glory. But right now, I want to take you in my life as personal Lord and Savior. Put my name in the book of life. I want to stand before you on that day as a child of God. And I thank you because it is done. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie, for coming onto the show.
Oh, thank you, David. Dachika tano.
Well, thank you very much, everyone who has watched the show. We appreciate your company. Everyone who got in touch with us on Twitter and on Facebook. We appreciate the messages. Morality Tween, I am Patra, Olive Telma, a couple people on Twitter and Facebook, and everyone who got in touch on Facebook. Thank you so much. God bless you till next weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sasa mimi nauliza nianze
compare with no any other. The love you've shown to me can compare with no any other. You've proved out as a close friend. I do not regret my knowing you. You've proved out to be closer. I do not regret my knowing you. Words can never tell how grateful I am for your care. Your goodness has held my head up high. Your beautiful hands have wiped away my tears. I'm grateful, I'm glad you've been good to me. So grateful, so grateful, so grateful. What can I say? So grateful, so grateful, so grateful. He'll make the sun to shine for you each morning. When the skies are gray, he'll make your feet find the promised land. When you've lost your way, he'll give your heart and your song to sing, and sweet melodies he'll give you love. He'll give you love. That's for my Savior. Words can never tell how grateful I am. Your goodness has held my head up high. Your beautiful hands have wiped every single one of my tears. I'm grateful, I'm glad you've been good to me. I'm never gonna run away from you. I open up my heart to you. I'm yours. I'm pulling up my flag and I surrender. Anchor on my ship, you can hold me down. I'm never gonna run. No, I'm never gonna run.
On the run. I am truly convinced that your ways are better. I'm not on the fence. Who distributes joy? Who sets the soul free? Who can forgive sin? Jesus, who died for me. Yes, it's true that I've been captured by your love. I've been captured by your grace. I've been covered by your blood. I was lost, but now I'm found. Yes, it's true you hold me down. Jesus, here's my white flag. I surrender right now. Jesus, here's my white flag. I surrender right now.
We all gon' feel the cares of this life, but we got that hope. We all gon' feel the pressure, but know that we got that hope. In case you feel defeated, in Jesus we got that hope. In Jesus we got that hope. In Jesus we got that hope. We all gon' feel the cares of this life, but we got that hope. We all gon' feel the pressure, but know that we got that hope. In case you feel defeated, in Jesus we got that hope. In Jesus we got that hope.
NTV, turning on your world.
First time we are musically speaking to celebrate, discover, and inspire.
Welcome to Jazz with Isaiah. Musical venture that is entertaining, educative, informative, and inspiring. Let's join Isaiah as we celebrate, we discover, and we encourage talent. And
We're gonna have a good time. I want you to be part of that process.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of Tuwaye.
Era nini ololo latuko waliwo omulamuzi loyo omu era abadde mmenga nga w'amaanyi nnyo akyaliwo mulamu era mu kitabo mwali naye Simba twali tunyumye naye yangituuka n'okuŋŋamba nti Amini bw'amala okumuyita n'amugamba basisinkane Kasubi amubuulira ebyama obo tebyapanga engeri gye banaakubamu olubiri amusanga naye abantu batunuulira kino abasajja bajja baatulanga mu Kampala club wano engeri gye banatamu Muteesa Abaganda wawu Tomusubwase Mwanga Kivumbi bantu balamu omuwandiisi ow'erinnya ku Sunday eno ku ssaawa 12 ku programu yaffe
Tuwaye.
Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
News Updates is brought to you by
Salolin. Color your world. Trusted and admired for generations.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for watching NTV this day, the 9th of March 2014. I'm Solomon Serwanja with the highlights ahead of NTV at 1. Opposition leaders and members of the civil society urge residents in Masaka to desist from violence during polls. Also coming up, locals in Alito sub-county in Akwak district demand the arrest of their local council leaders over the mismanagement of funds for the construction of roads. And officials in Malaysia are investigating whether the missing Malaysian airplane could have turned back before disappearing. Now all these and more will be coming up at the top of the hour on NTV at 1. Do stay with us.
Help your walls withstand extreme weather conditions with WeatherGuard only from Sadolin. You need to choose the right company. Sadolin. Color your world. Trusted and admired for generations.
Premier Mama Mbabazi hogged the headlines this week as the politician found himself swimming against turbulent waters as his political rivals continued to bay for his blood. This week also, Rebel MPs breathed a sigh of relief as the Supreme Court quashed a judgment of the Constitutional Court ruling that the lawmakers should stay in the August House. Now, if you missed out on all these stories, you're right on time for this edition of 7 Days. We're glad that you can join us this Sunday lunchtime. I'm Solomon Serwanja with Maureen Nambarira for our deaf audience. Let's look at what stood out last week. President Museveni says Mama Mbabazi is still Secretary General. This ahead of an NRM caucus meeting next week. Tear gas rocks downtown Kampala as the Supreme Court stays the Constitutional Court ruling on Rebel MPs. Also coming up, Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi warns the impact of aid cut. And Kampala politician Peter Sematimba eyes the mayoral seat again on the NRM party ticket. Once again, a very warm welcome to 7 Days. It's indeed a pleasure to have your company. Now, it has been a hectic week for the NRM Party Secretary General Amama Mbabazi. However, the NRM caucus decided on Friday to convene on Monday next week at State House in Entebbe with an agenda to preach cohesion in an attempt to paper over cracks as a result of a rift between President and Amama Mbabazi. According to the NRM Chief Whip Kasule Lumumba, the ruling party plans to commence a grassroots campaign ahead of the 2016 general election. But as the president attempts to pour auction on troubled waters, Museveni issued a new press release saying that Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi is still the Secretary General of the party.
Early after the recent showdown between the president and the Premier Amama Mbabazi, the ruling party has called for another crisis meeting at State House Entebbe on Monday. According to the NRM Chief Whip Kasule Lumumba, the meeting will focus on cohesion. During the meeting, the MPs will also be given roles to perform at the grassroots, presumably to dismantle the Premier's network in the backwaters.
To diffuse the confusion that has been caused. Okay. So, the details of the strategy part of what will be discussed in the caucus of Monday.
As the NRM attempts to heal a deeper rift within the party, the meeting will bring on board all the ruling party flag bearers who lost in the elections.
We shall have a meeting with other flag bearers of constituencies, NRM, who didn't make it to Parliament, and we give them guidance and guidelines.
The party will require financial watchers to carry out these activities at the grassroots.
A party is going to look for funding to facilitate MPs to hold conferences in their sub-counties.
Yeah. This series of meetings come at a time there is fear that Mbabazi has not entirely shelved his presidential ambitions for 2016. Party insiders reveal that in a pronged approach, the regime will continue to purge Mbabazi loyalists while further isolating the Secretary General. However, the president appeared to pour unction on troubled waters after Mbabazi came under baptism of fire at State House Entebbe. The president said the media skewed reporting of the events at State House, saying Mbabazi is still Secretary General and the decision had not yet been taken to summon him before the party disciplinary committee. Maurice Ochol, NTV.
Now moving on, tear gas rocked part of the city after the Supreme Court temporarily blocked Speaker Rebecca Kadaga from evicting the 4 expelled NRM MPs from Parliament. This was just a few hours after the Electoral Commission had set April 17th as the date for the by-election in their constituencies. Now, 2 of the expelled NRM MPs now have a moment's reprieve from the Constitutional Court order that also asked the Electoral Commission to conduct fresh elections and the Speaker to stop with immediate effect the payment of their emoluments.
Seka Market, considered a highly politicized area that has had its own fair share of protests, was the embattled MP's preferred point of celebrations after the Supreme Court halted the Constitutional Court order stripping them of their parliamentary seats. They led a procession to Chiseka Market as police trailed them, but within a few minutes, the number of onlookers grew larger and the police readied themselves with tear gas canisters. In a split second, police fired tear gas to disperse the crowds. The entire Chiseka Market area was choking on tear gas, sparing no one.
We agreed no more stoning, no more tear gas. We were only waiting for Katikiro. We didn't know what is taking place. Really, it's unfair. But we never hear about
Before the argument ended, police fired more tear gas to disperse the approaching group of youths on Chagwe Road. The MPs were ordered to drive to Old Kampala police station. They will on Friday face charges of holding unlawful assembly, assaulting police officers, and disobeying lawful orders.
If they want to have celebrations, let them go to Kololo. Kololo is open and they can go and celebrate there. But they should also write to the IGP who will authorize them to do that.
Earlier, Remiaga County MP Theodore Sechikubo and Kampala Central MP Muhammad Nsereko were at the Supreme Court to hear the ruling delivered by Justice George Wilson Sekoko that quashed the orders of the Constitutional Court. The Supreme Court ruled that the expelled NRM MPs have a right to appeal and had met all the necessary grounds for the appeal to be considered. The relieved MPs and their supporters erupted into celebrations inside court. The Supreme Court's pronouncement also brings to a halt plans by the Electoral Commission to conduct by-elections in Kampala Central, Remiaga County, Ndorwa East, and Buyaga West in April.
To all our countrymen, there is nothing much we can tell you. The struggle continues, and we shall not back off from struggling for your rights for as long as we are alive.
Are you going to Parliament? It isn't only the four of us who have been on trial, but it is the constitution of this country which has been on trial. It is the people of this country who have been on trial. It is the institutions of this country. So this is not our personal win, but it is a win for all Ugandans.
On Tuesday, lawyers representing NRM, Chibuka County MP Saleh Kamba, and others argued that the MP's interim order had been overtaken by events. They further argued that the embattled legislators had failed to prove to court that Parliament was their only source of income.
Because surely if that is the only source of income they have, then it means that they are a danger to society. They are a danger to society. It means they are amenable to many temptations.
The NRM rebel MPs say they have been vindicated, but as to whether the other organs of the state, like the Electoral Commission, will respect the orders from the Supreme Court remains another matter. The main application is supposed to be heard on the 28th of this month.
I have received a letter.
At Parliament, the Supreme Court ruling was greeted enthusiastically by the opposition and reservedly by the NRM MPs as the Speaker Rebecca Kadaga read it out. Sudil Biarhanga, NTV.
Two of the rebel MPs there jubilating and really being happy after the Supreme Court quashed the Constitutional Court decision which was issued earlier. But moving on, Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi says that the recent suspension of aid by the World Bank and other Western nations will make government incur huge costs to fund its contracted services. It emerged that the government signed contracts with service providers on the understanding that they would pay up after receiving donor funds. We have more in this report.
The World Bank last week announced the suspension of a $90 million loan to Uganda because of President Museveni's enactment of the anti-homosexuality law. The loan was meant to improve Uganda's healthcare system, but the suspension may see government face legal action and lose money to service providers for breaching a contract it signed with them.
Because we were at an advanced stage, this was an ongoing project. It means government may not be able to meet its obligations, contractual obligations, because apparently some contracts had already been entered with the service providers. So this will have a cost.
The Prime Minister says government will now have to review budgets of other sectors in order to meet its obligations.
Naturally, some other areas will suffer, but that's inevitable. And I've said previously, it's something that we would have loved to avoid, but if they unilaterally take decisions, what do? We will have to march on.
Mbabazi, however, took a swipe at donors for their condemnation of the anti-homosexuality law without appreciating the democratic process in which it was enacted.
It's not a nice thing to do, and if you want my personal opinion, I don't think they are doing the right thing.
The Prime Minister also responded to reports that recently appeared in the media about his alleged intention to stand against President Museveni in the 2016 elections.
I am the one who decides what to do for myself. Okay? And I have said NRM, through its established methods, will choose who its candidates will be, and certainly I will not stand against President Museveni. If you want me to repeat it, I will not stand against President Museveni.
President Museveni has lately been calling on government technocrats to stop corrupt tendencies and be frugal in their spending in order to run programs without relying on donor aid.
Now, the NRM party started meeting to select a party flag bearer for the Kampala mayoral position. This after the Electoral Commission announced April 17th as the date for the election. The case of the Lord Mayor is still in court, though Justice Yasin Nyanzi ruled that Arias Lukwago is still the Lord Mayor.
We got a letter from the clerk to KCCA on 26 November last year, informing the Commission that there was a vacuum.
The announcement was made yesterday. The Electoral Commission based the decision on the ruling made by the courts. NRM leaders at the party head office at Chadondo held a consultative meeting to choose a party flag bearer for the by-election. Salim Uhuru, the NRM chairman in Kampala, says they'll come up with a candidate in a few days.
So the issue is, well, we had actually called it for look for a candidate, that is for the MP Kampala Central, and at the same time the Lord Mayor. But good enough, the courts have come out and have made it clear for the MP seat. And now, since there's plan B of the Lord Mayor, that's what we are planning for now.
One man, however, has already expressed interest in the mayorship. Peter Sematimba, who lost the initial election to Arias Lukwago. While enthusiasm and ambition builds, there's controversy regarding this vacancy. Judge Nyanzi of the Constitutional Court recently ruled that Arias Lukwago is still the Lord Mayor. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.
Thank you very much, Chris Ochamringa, there with the mayoral race going on. We're now going to take a short break, and do stay with us for these and more stories. Still ahead on 7 days, snipping the sniff. Bill to check public smoking introduced in Parliament. And a tale of double standards. Police cracks down on its own over treatment of suspects. 7 days continues after this short break. See you shortly.
NTV, turning on your world.
Sunlight adds fabric conditioners to washing powder to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and fragrance that lasts and lasts and lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning and all-day fragrance.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of Kitchen Delight.
This week on Kitchen Delight, guess what? I'm bringing you some of the women that are behind Turning On Your World, and I'm hosting a chef friend of mine from Turkey, Chef Mehmet.
Chicken spaghetti bolognese. Yes. Cool. You see?
Chicken, what?
Chicken spaghetti bolognese. Yes, please. I cook the first onion, after I put the garlic. So after brown, I put the chicken because you have to give this onion and garlic is flavor. You have to give inside chicken. So after half cook, I put the vegetable.
Chef Mehmet, guess what we are doing? Chicken spaghetti bolognese. It's all happening here on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Don't miss it.
Kitchen Delight.
At
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Welcome back from that short break. We're still glad that you are with us. Now, Shadow Local Government Minister Betty Namboze is calling for the amendment of the decentralization system of governance and a reduction in the number of districts. The outspoken Mukono Municipality MP will table her findings before Parliament this month, calling for urgent implementation of her recommendations before the forthcoming general election. We have a report.
At the moment, we have 112 districts. We have 22 municipalities. We have 56 division municipalities. We have 1,116 sub-counties. We have 174 town councils. And when you move to Western Uganda, you will find that some of the town councils are just junctions with free shops.
These, according to the Shadow Local Government Minister, Betty Namboze, have put a huge tax burden on taxpayers with no tangible returns. In her statement presented to the Shadow Cabinet today, Namboze urges that most of the districts have failed to raise the necessary revenue to run the affairs of the districts that continue to run without required staff levels.
A district like Bukoma Nsimbi raised 30 million shillings in financial year 2011-2012 in local revenue. According to the law, a district is supposed to use only 20% of the local revenue for the work of the council. That is the chairman, the councillors, facilitating the council meetings and the committee meetings. That means, therefore, that Bukoma Nsimbi district had 6 million to run the district council. 6 million is very little money that you cannot use it to hold even one successful council meeting.
She wants the current number of districts reduced to about 60 for effective control and effective service delivery.
The district of Kalangala has been advertising in papers for over 5 years now for the post of a medical officer, but they have failed to attract even one application. No doctor wants to go and work in Kalangala because he will be condemned in that district for his entire professional life. So we are saying, if you want to assist mothers, if you want to offer medical services to the people of Kalangala, it is better that they remain under Masaka, which has medical officers.
Among other amendments in the decentralization system is the creation of provincial offices replacing federalism.
Viable ones, regional or provincial governments with powers. Regional governments that have a clear formula of sharing revenue between the central government and the regional provincial offices.
The reduction in districts will automatically translate into less MPs and subsequently a significant cut in the public service budget.
This issue of RDCs, why do we have all these RDCs? 112 with deputies? Why? I mean, we can't keep on wasting a lot of money mismanaging decentralization, at the end of the day taking no services to the people.
Namboze says the decentralization system has faced numerous challenges, with government indirectly controlling all the affairs of local governments. In 2008, a commission chaired by former Prime Minister Apollon Sibambi recommended for the reduction of the 79 districts for effective service delivery, but instead more were created.
Private members' bill to control public smoking has been tabled in Parliament. Now, this bill was tabled by Kinkizi West MP Dr. Chris Baryomunsi and seconded by Ndora West MP David Bahati.
When I smoke it, I relax and I pass time. You know, I gain a lot when I'm doing it, like this.
Riding on the back of the successful passing into law the anti-homosexuality bill, Ndora West MP David Bahati once again has embarked on another project. Bahati, together with the Kinkizi West MP Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, have tabled another controversial bill that seeks to control public smoking.
The intention again and the purpose of the bill is to protect the well-being and the health of Ugandans, especially the minors.
I'm trying to open it with my mind. That's why I'm smoking.
A 2011 World Health Organization demographic survey shows that 25% of all the deaths in Uganda are as a result of tobacco-related illnesses. The research indicates that 6 million people die every year from tobacco-related illness and diseases globally. This number is expected to increase to 10 million people by 2020.
Tobacco-related illnesses are killing more people than HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria combined. Did you know that, for instance?
The only thing you can say, it is harmful.
Health experts say tobacco consumption is the root cause of all non-communicable diseases like cancer, heart attack, stroke, and diabetes, as well as mental impairment in babies.
Tobacco is also a big risk factor. It worsens the outcomes for people who have infectious diseases like HIV and tuberculosis.
It's also an entry point to the use of illicit drugs and alcohol among the youth.
75% of oral cancer, cancer of the mouth, in Mulago is due to people have history of tobacco use. Even if they don't smoke the tobacco, the handling of the green leaves, the chewing of the tobacco in the buns, up to the person who smokes or the person who takes shisha.
Research also points to the fact that the life expectancy of those who smoke is shortened by 14 years and increases chances of pregnant mothers having babies with deformed lungs.
We have commissioned a study to identify the diseases caused by tobacco and how much they cost the government to treat them. So at the end of the day, we are able to say government is spending so much money because of tobacco consumption.
However, cigarette manufacturers say smoking is a choice and not forced to anyone.
Technically, what we see is a move to ban smoking in this country, which you and I know that is something a bit unrealistic. So can we face the reality that there are people who have chosen to smoke? For those, how can we regulate them? How can we assist them to do it in a responsible manner that does not expose those who have made an informed choice not to smoke?
Once this bill is passed into law, Uganda will join Kenya, Rwanda in the region, and many other West African countries in passing a similar law.
So can we as a country stick to regulation and legislation and not banning? And can we also address the unintended consequences of coming up with very ambitious regulation that we cannot enforce or control or manage once passed into law?
Jingo Francis, NTV Parliament.
Interesting story there against tobacco smoking. NTV will continue to cover that story until when the bill comes before the House. Now moving on, a police crackdown within its own police station in the city reveals a grim finding of double standards and abuse. Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Andrew Felix Kawesi now says he will dismantle the corrupt system. Several police officers have also been arrested.
The confined people in police cells have taken to having a state of their own in the police cells, something that has left the Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander recovering from shock.
They have the Prime Minister in the cells.
Those without a say are treated as underdogs and always await instructions from the leaders in the pseudo government.
The Prime Minister allocates special rooms. There is Sheraton. There is Africana Hotel. The charges are different. Then there is general happiness, which they call, I think, Go Cool Hotel. Those ones are the ones who don't have anything to do with money, those who cannot afford to pay for the services.
This privilege, however, comes at a cost from higher authorities who let them come up with a state of their own in the cells, the police officers.
They are charging suspects money for food. Food we provide free of charge. For you to sleep in Sheraton, you pay 30,000. Those in Africana, they pay 10. They have someone who goes out to buy food for them. When he brings tea, the one with sugar, you pay 3,000. The one without sugar, you pay 1,000.
Prisoners who fail to get their relatives to get money paid up for a stay in the cells get whipped.
All the commanders must explain this.
Kawesi says he will not blame the prisoners was simply given a leeway by the officers.
This is time here I'm going to purge. They're purging. And I'm not going to allow this one to happen anymore.
He says arrests have already been made of the officers who have been allowing such abuses to go on in the police cells. He has dismantled the special rooms, and the prison's prime minister, who has been apportioning punishments to fellow prisoners, has been dethroned.
I'm sweeping, and the house is going to be clean.
The broom has been extended to other officers extorting money from owners of vehicles using tow trucks.
And when the breakdowns come, it is not the victim or the suspect who actually contracts the services of the breakdown. It's the police that gets the breakdown, they get the vehicle to the police station, and then the police influences the charges.
Kawesi has called this outrageous and not befitting of a serving officer.
I have abolished breakdowns parking near police stations.
And if fighting extortions in police cells and banning the illegal operations of tow trucks have not kept the commander busy, Kawesi says he found gross laxity by officers over the weekend.
So I found some station locked with padlocks. Take an example, you are supposed to be at a post and you are not there. You have closed it. I lock you up in your own station.
The first to get this boomerang include the Kira Road Divisional Police Commander and officers in charge of police stations. Kawesi now warns that officers not up to the task should merely hang up their boots. Florence Nalimba, NTV.
Police there cleaning its house before it cleans that of the society. That story winds up this edition of 7 Days. Thanks for your company. Be sure to join me for NTV at 1. But from the entire team here at 7 Days, it's a good afternoon.
NTV, turning on your world.
Program Guide.
She's going to get married.
Well, planning a wedding is not, and getting married is not the same thing.
That's it. Either Solano comes here and talks to me, or there's no deal.
In life, there are many twists. I swear you'll be back. I want you to have her exhumed, the body of Gabriela Suarez.
All men are looking for different things. There is a man for every woman that walks the planet.
Then you discover other things and
Get
they're the
used
ones
to
that
a
you
new
like.
thing. The length of the man and the shortness of the woman could be a factor in play, because if you have a 6x6 bed and the man is taller than the entire bed.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals announced their plans to launch last week. I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? Much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, Call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
NTV, turning on your world.
Good afternoon once again and a very warm welcome to NTV at One. I am Solomon Serwanja. We'll start away by looking at the headlines. Opposition leaders and members of the civil society urge residents of Masaka to desist from violence during polls. Also coming up, locals in Alito sub-county in Kole demand for the arrest of their local council leaders over the mismanagement of funds for the construction of a road. And officials in Malaysia are investigating whether the missing Malaysian airplane could have turned back before disappearing. Once again, a very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at NTV at One. Now, police in Masaka deployed heavily yesterday as opposition leaders convened demanding for electoral reforms ahead of the 2016 general election. The rally was addressed by former FDC leader Dr. Kiza Besije, FDC President Major General Mugisha Muntu, and UPC President Olaro Tunu, while also Bishop Zach Nyiringie was also in attendance.
Government eno temulaba kubanga abangi balawa Museveni nga bagamba nti omusajja talina gy'alaga. Museveni yaggwa dda. Twewagale. Ffe abaagala enkyukakyuka twewagale. Omusajja taliiwo. He's that there hanging at the top.
Nze njogera ng'omuntu amanyi history wa Uganda. N'olwekyo bino ebyogamba nti oli paka last, oli tewali paka last. Katonda yekka ye paka last kubanga talina ntandikwa, talina nkomerero. Our country is in very deep crisis. Our country is in a state of complete brokenness. Setting free our country requires us coming together as Ugandans who care for our country, coming together. Mwebale nnyo ddala, mwebalire ddala.
Political temperatures there rising up ahead of the 2016 general election. UPC President Olaro Tunu even trying to speak Luganda. But moving on, the Aswa Regional Police spokesperson Jimmy Okema says that there is a rise in the number of accidents on the Eling-Gulu-Atiak highway. Only yesterday, a truck loaded with crates of beers overturned, injuring a driver and a turnboy. The two were rushed to Laka Hospital in Gulu. These are some of the pictures we captured at the scene of the accident.
So it's quite unfortunate. The road condition is really poor, but I know there are responsible people who are supposed to attend to that. Otherwise, I must say, since the year began, we've registered quite a number of accident cases there where I find vehicles has overturned, motorbikes carrying people, they have also fallen, even someone riding a bike. So it's not the first of its kind, though this one is a little bit serious. This happened this afternoon. These people were coming from Lacho. They went to sail. On their way back, when they reached this place, Custom Corners, that is when the driver lost control. The truck started reversing and it ended up overturning.
We're also informed that they sustained minor injuries there when they were taken to Lacho Hospital. Moving on, Captain David Ruhinda Maguru, recently arrested on charges of trespass during the recent NRM retreat at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi, says he will challenge the incumbent in the flag bearer position in the ruling party. Maguru says he's contesting because he wants to bring an end to unconstitutional rule of tyranny, which could lead the country into chaos. During the NRM Delegates Conference in 2010, Maguru stepped down in favor of President Museveni as the sole flag bearer after imprisoned plea from ruling party members.
So I have been held, as has been the case in Communicado, for 3 weeks, from 15th up to 8th. 15th of February up to 8th of March. Illegally and unconstitutionally, without any case. However, I want to insist and inform that committee which sat the caucus that they should withdraw, because we are going to challenge that document which they came up with in the courts of law, and we are going to declare it null and void. No, we are going to continue using constitutional means to make sure that we stop him. We are going to stop you, Mzee Museveni. We are going to stop you. We have capacity, we have the resolve, and we have all what it takes to stop you. One person, you cannot lead this country again into chaos.
Time can only tell a better story. Now, over 200 primary teachers in Namaingo district have had their names deleted from the payroll by authorities in the Public Service Ministry. The situation has left many government schools without teachers because the majority of them are busy trying to get their names back on the payroll instead of teaching.
Many teachers in Namaingo district whose names were deleted from the payroll gathered at the offices of the Inspector of Schools to sort out the problem. The teachers say they have not received last month's salaries.
I have been deleted without a proper reason. I'm teaching, I have children who are learning in the university.
Again, they have deleted me. The reason unknown. Whenever you ask the bosses concerned, they don't tell you the exact thing.
Because we would be in classes at this time, but you imagine we are here. And who loses at the end? The pupil.
I have not got salary for Feb, and we don't know why we have disappeared from the payroll. Neither the personnel knows.
The situation has left many students with no one to teach them. The Namaingo District Inspector of Schools, Thomas Malaba, confirmed the deletion of several teachers' names by officials from the Public Service Ministry.
This has left many stations without teachers who are supposed to do some good work.
The district's Chief Administrative Officer, Dev Jayago, says he's working hand in hand with officials from the public service to ensure the teachers' names are reinstated on the payroll.
I know of at least between 30 and 40 teachers who have not been paid, and we are working with the ministry responsible, that's the Ministry of Public Service, to have these issues sorted out.
Now, police in Amuru district have started investigating an alleged attack on a blind UPDF soldier by his relatives. It's alleged that Lance Corporal Ben Odia, who lost his sight in the LRA fight close to a decade ago, is embroiled in a land row with his relatives who do not want him to have a share of their ancestral property.
There is a follow-up which is going to be done on that. We call for his patience. Whatever the regional team will come with will be exactly what shall be communicated to him. We shall make a follow-up into his fight. That one, it is our mandate. That is why we have a regional team at a particular region.
Now, moving on, residents of Alito sub-county in Kole district have asked police to investigate their LC3 leaders for mismanaging funds meant to construct a Maram Road. During a consultative meeting held at Adelego Primary School, Tom Oponyo, the anti-graft crusader, said over 8 million shillings cannot be accounted for. The district police commander for Kole district, Gerald Isavidie, encouraged locals to report graft cases to police.
So we want value for money audit, and then it's good that we have the DPC here. The people who are implicated, that is Rebecca Bonyo, who was the sub-county chief, and then the community development assistant, Okelo Chepa, who incidentally is my OB, should be arrested and brought to book. I'm annoyed with him, because now they are all dodging things. How can they dodge when they are the leaders? Why do you contest to become a chairman? And then before people, you can't talk the truth. We are not politicking. After all, I don't come from here. We want you to tell the people the truth, and we want oil for money, that's all.
First of all, we wanted to get how much was used for fuel, how much was used for what, for Calbat, with the documentation, not what Bavali.
I also want to encourage the TAC that in all of the activities, you consider opening up cases against individuals who you have got to report that done something wrong or done something in a way that's not appropriate. But as an NGO which is working in the area of fighting corruption, you can come up and say we have this information, this has been done wrongly, and you want a case registered, we are complaining.
Locals demanding for accountability there. Now we are going to take a short break, but do stay with us here at NTV at 1.
Sunlight adds fabric conditioners to washing powder to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and fragrance that lasts and lasts and lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning and all-day fragrance.
This is today's Umeme outage report.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of Tuwaye.
Era mini ololo latuko waliwo omulamuzi loyo omu era abadde mmenga nga wamanyi nyenyenye
akyaliwo
mulamu era mu kitabo mwali naye simba twali tunyumye naye yangituuka n'okuŋŋamba nti Amini bwamala okumuyita n'amugamba basisinkane Kasubi amubulira ebyama obote byapanga engeri gye banaakubamu olubiri amusanga naye abantu batunulira kino abasajja bajja baatulanga mu Kampala club wano engeri gye banatamu Muteesa abaganda wawu Tomusubwase Mwanga Kivumbi bantu balamu omuwandiisi ow'erinnya ku Sunday eno ku ssaawa 12 ku programu yaffe
Tuwaye. At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
We're glad that you're still watching and welcome back from that short break. Moving on to our international scene, Malaysian authorities have begun investigating whether a missing Malaysian airline plane with 239 passengers on board had turned back before disappearing. This and more in our international news.
As the search for the Malaysian Airlines flight continues into a second day this Sunday, Malaysian aviation authorities say they were fearing the worst and that radar displays indicated the plane could have turned around. No weather problems had been reported in the area before the plane dropped out of contact, and the pilots did not send a distress signal, something that has been highlighted by experts as unusual for a modern jetliner. There was still no confirmed sighting of wreckage from the Boeing 777 in the seas between Malaysia and Vietnam, where it vanished from screens early Saturday morning en route to Beijing from Kuala Lumpur. The identities of 4 passengers on board the missing jetliner are being investigated over airline security fears as planes and ships from across Asia resumed the hunt for the plane that disappeared with 239 people on board.
If it's not a security risk, we have to establish that first. And if it is a security risk, let's see where the lapse is. I've got nothing to hide. But the main thing here, guys, for me and for the families are concerned, is to find the aircraft. We will find out on lapses and shortages and who brought risk to the issue.
Help is also being sought from the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. However, an attack was only one of the possibilities being investigated. The search efforts were increased today with 22 aircraft and 40 ships from various authorities now scouring the original search area and the area to the west that could have been reached if the plane did turn around. Finding traces of an aircraft that disappears over sea can take days or longer, even with a sustained search effort. Terrorism is always considered a possibility, but the sudden disappearance of flight MH370 has given extra emphasis to speculation a bomb might have been on board. Elsewhere, Libya threatened to bomb a North Korean-flagged tanker if it tries to export oil from a rebel-controlled port east of Tripoli, in a major escalation of a standoff over the country's petroleum wealth.
Last night, a ship called Morning Glory entered Libyan waters and docked at the oil-exporting port of Sidra. Of course, this is a violation of international law. The state of Libya has sent a warning to the ship and the embassy of North Korea as the ship is flying their flag, and contacted its captain by phone. But the captain said an armed group jumped on the ship. He called them militia. The tanker will be bombed if it doesn't follow orders when leaving the port. This will be an environmental disaster.
The rebels in control of Libya's eastern ports are attempting to export oil with a tanker that docked at gunpoint on Saturday. Mohammed Al-Arari, the spokesman for Libya's national oil company, said that the vessel could carry up to 350,000 barrels of oil. Libyan Prime Minister Ali Zaidan said the authorities had told the vessel's captain to leave Libyan territorial waters, but he said gunmen on board were preventing him from leaving. Abd Rabo al-Barasi, the self-declared Prime Minister of Libya's Eastern Autonomy Movement, dismissed the threats from Tripoli.
We are not making threats and we do not want to use force. However, if anyone attacks us, we will be prepared to defend ourselves.
The oil crisis erupted in July when security guards at key terminals shut them down, accusing the authorities of corruption and demanding a more equitable distribution of oil revenues. Plagued by lawlessness, Libya's interim government is under mounting pressure to control armed militias and restore order.
On the international scene, doctors treating the retired German racing driver Michael Schumacher say that his life is still in danger and are currently working to get the Formula One legend out of coma. We have more in our international sport roundup.
Doctors treating injured Formula One legend Michael Schumacher are still working to bring him out of a coma. The 7-time champion suffered a severe head injury in a skiing accident in the French Alps on December 29. The German has been in a medically induced coma to help reduce the swelling in his brain. Investigators probing the accident said Schumacher had been going at the speed of a very good skier at the time of his crash in the resort of Marylebone. In cricket, assistant coach Paul Collingwood says England must focus on victory in the 2020 series in the West Indies, not preparation for the ICC World T20. Following their 50-over series victory, the Tourists have 3 2020s, the first of which on Sunday before the World T20 begins in Bangladesh on the 16th March. England will be without all-rounder Joe Root, who returned home with a broken thumb sustained in making a century in deciding one-day international in Antigua. In golf, world number 1 Tiger Woods carded 8 birdies in a 66 to move within 3 of the lead after the penultimate round of the WGC Cadillac Championship. The defending champion produced the best round of the week to reach 1 under and a share of 4th at Dorrell. Fellow American Patrick Reed, the joint overnight leader, had an eagle in his 69 to lead by 2 shots at 4 under. Rory McIlroy is 7 adrift after 75 and Graham McDowell 5 back, but Welshman Jim McDonaldson is 1 under.
That's all we had for you on NTV at 1. Be sure to catch our next bulletin, that is NTV Kusawemu at 7 and NTV Weekend Edition at 9 with Rukshana. From the entire team here, it's a good afternoon.
NTV, turning on your world.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Newsbeat presented to you by Ladies Like and Survivor. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow, keep you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news, follow. People in Ukraine took over power, celebrated a few days, then the party went sour. The former president, head of the Russian puppet government, vote to come back a President Putin went on the attack.
Not minding international tact, just like America did when they invaded Iraq.
In a matter of days, they invaded Crimea to protect the Russian diaspora.
Just like they did in 2008, they faced off with Georgia and protected Abkhazia.
Obama called it an act of aggression, and Europe is threatening Russia with economic sanctions, but Putin is not the type to back off.
He'll be more than willing, and even if it means World War III and multiple killings.
Peace, love, unity and understanding. Isn't there a place for them today? Why should we always fight for freedom? Survivor, can there be another way?
Well, you know what they say, you can't make a Rolex without breaking some eggs. Uganda's anti-gay law is making news. Some countries have found it befitting to accuse Uganda of treating gays as German Jews. Nothing to gain from this and more to lose.
But President Museveni says he won't bow down to the West. Uganda has the right to decide what's best.
Friends are now gone, deals are postponed, the World Bank is delaying a $90 million loan. Loans don't come cheap, aid is not charity. South America is still in disparity.
Sometimes it means a loss of sovereignty or worse, economic dependency.
Africans are now turning to the Chinese, investors who don't mind our politics, as long as they can sell us cheap goods in every sector. What next, a gay detector?
Women boxing in Uganda is on a rise. Some are even fighting for Olympic prize. Let's hear from a reporter from the streets.
To them with Helen and Diana, who came from slums of Katanga. They are sisters but also terrifying boxers. They struggle every day patching old tires and showing the way for the young girls to get inspired and maybe one day represent our country on the Olympic stage. Let's ask the Rhino girls from Katanga how they feel when they step on the ring.
I feel good when I step into the ring because that's the dream of me. It's my dream to be in the ring. I don't feel bad. Also, sometimes you can feel like a little bit shaking, but I feel good.
So boys and girls, pick up any sport, stay fit, healthy and enjoy the effort. I'm MC Loy and this was my sports report. Back to you.
Thanks, MC Loy. That was really inspiring and a reminder that women can do anything. This might be a man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Instead of discussing how women should dress, it's rape and discrimination we must address.
Even the miniskirt ban does not give rise to a man to defile our daughters and disrespect our mothers. Police reports show that every day 20 women are suffering from sexual assault. Remember the saying about education: educate a woman, educate a nation.
Education is a young girl's right, but 1 out of 4 will never learn to read or write.
We should take example from a government where women have 1/3 of the seats in parliament. We have to build a world for our children where being a woman is neither fault nor a burden. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still let it slide.
And Survivor.
Reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Smelling nice and being tough can go together. The freshness of fabric conditioner is now combined with the best ever stain removal of Omo. New Omo, best ever stain removal with fabric conditioner freshness.
Today's highlight with
New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to love me. I love you. You tell me you love me, and you say nothing's going on. I am. You say you're out with your girlfriends, and you come home late, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, but I've been unhappy. I've been unhappy. You're never there. You're never there for me. No, you I am don't. there for you. You love your job. You love your company. You don't. I quit my job for you. No, you wouldn't.
My mom always wants what's best for us. That's why she uses new geisha with extracts from nature. New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
This program is rated GE. It is suitable for all audiences.